Alright, so fortunately I can tell you one thing. That glitch fixed itself. The syringe is no longer a part of my sword. Alright, let's see. First, this note from Megan. Dr. Hypatia needed a place to sleep, so I cleared the stuff out of the spare cabin that I was able to sell most of it. Here's what's left of the money. It's not a lot, I know. Whale oil is expensive and under Imperial rationing decree, but you know that. Megan Foster. So because I saved Dr. Hypatia, I got a pouch full of extra money because we sold that because we had to make room. So there's a reward for that. Alright. Travel log. Alright. The Crown Killer is no more. Next, Jindosh. I finally uncovered how my enemies created the Crown Killer. What better way to erode confidence in me before the coup? If I had stopped to think about it for even a few minutes, maybe I could have kept my people's trust. But that would have required patience. And my advisors always remind me that I have none of that particular trait. But to use Hypatia's own serum against her? Horrible. I'm happy I could find a cure. She's a brilliant alchemist. Now she can continue her research to help the people of Serkonos. I wasn't able to rescue Sokolov. He's been taken elsewhere, to Kirin Jindosh's mansion. He's the inventor of the Clockwork Soldier. Maybe he's able to use Sokolov's genius for his own plans. It might be very, very bad. I've seen his killing machines in action at Dunwall Tower. I can't allow Delilah to have such an ally. I'm sure Jindosh takes pleasure in keeping his intellectual rival captive. Well, it won't be for long, if I have any say in it. The Dreadful Whale. What a weird name. It's hard to sleep on this ship, and when I do, my dreams are troubled. Well, I'm awake now, and thinking about Sokolov. I remember him at the Hound Pit's pub. So long ago, trapped like a beast in a cage. He smelled of stale piss and rotting meat, but they couldn't break him. He held on to himself and picked up again as my tutor. Something I needed in the aftermath of my mother's death. Beware of dignitaries bearing gifts, he used to tell me. But I was still a child, and I liked gifts. I thought nothing sounded more pleasant. Now I know better. I also find myself thinking of Callista, my old governess. She always wanted to travel the world on a big boat. Eventually, she left Dunwall, then stopped riding a few months later. Aww. So I guess the indication there is that maybe Callista just left and she's still out there somewhere, but she apparently doesn't communicate with Emily anymore. Either because she chooses not to, or she has her own life now, or unfortunately maybe she got killed. They're not being very clear on that, which tells me they're trying to keep that a bit of a mystery for those who are curious. Anyway. Of course, I'm realizing this game actually gives you 4 different narratives. 2 for each character. 1 for Emily of low chaos and 1 of high chaos, and, you know, same thing with Corva. Depending on the actions you choose.
The good doctor didn't know she was the Crown Killer. Maybe she just didn't want to.
Maintenance list. Drain engine room. Another week, another leak. I wasted hours on it. I couldn't get it stopped. I'll shut the water off, assuming I can find the crank wheel. Something to deal with once Sokolov is safe.
You might want to talk to Hypatia before we head out. She's taken one of the rooms. Just for a while, I think. Needed to be away from Admire.
Nerve of the Grand Guard. Trying to keep me from... Oh, you're here.
Hi, Dr. Hypatia.
Can you remember anything that might help me? I need to find Anton Sokolov. He could be the key to unraveling the Duke's plans.
My memories are disjointed. The Duke is close to his grand inventor, Kirin Jindosh. But that man has the empathy of a mantis. He seems to both admire and despise Sokolov. We visited Aramis Stilton. I liked him. But something bad happened.
Of course it did.
Just snatches of memory. Sorry.
You should rest easy for a while. Maybe some of that will help.
I hope so. I'm not sure I even fully understand what you did for me,
Counter serum.
but I owe you for helping me at Adamire. Thank you.
I wonder if this game has both low chaos and high chaos trophies, just like in the first game. Models, music. Can I talk to her some
My
more?
dreams are still filled with visions, some of which I'd sooner forget. When I first got here, I was in a daze, but I'm feeling better. I'm not sure how long I'll stay here, but I appreciate being away from Adamire. A few days' recovery has helped. It might be the salty air or the rocking of the boat. Maybe just being around good people again. Maybe someday, Karnaca will return to the way it was under the old Duke, Theodanis.
Dr. Hypatia's notes. On a boat. With friends, I believe. I slept. Thankfully, without the usual nightmares. Perhaps the sea air does me good. The captain, Megan Foster, brought some tea earlier. Such an interesting woman. She seemed to understand about my strange disjointed memories and the feelings of dread that accompany them. As soon as I am able, I must return to Adamire. So much of the last few months seem a blur. What was I accomplishing? What of my research into serums for the Black Spittle? My work was so easily derailed. I can only conclude I was suffering from a complete exhaustive breakdown. I will need time to recover, so she may not remember anything that happened while she had that alternate crown killer personality. So, if so, she's really not guilty for the murders. Because she wasn't herself. She had, like, she has no
Megan must be up
recollection
on
of it.
deck.
But after all, the Duke is the real criminal here. Ooh. A lecture on bloodfly fever.
That wasn't here before. Botany and diseases.
Huh. She actually commented on that. Da-da-da-da-da. Has this changed
Ramsay
at all?
and the Crown Killer. 2 pieces of the puzzle. More to go.
She does comment on this. I love
So
it.
the Crown Killer was a tool of the Duke's coup. The murders had a calculated effect. Hypatia did terrible things under the influence of her formula, but she's free now. We'll find you, Anton. I wonder how recently this Silvergraph image of Jindosh was made. To reach Jindosh, I'll have to take the carriage through Lower, then Upper Aventa.
Oh, great.
With a couple dozen clockwork soldiers, Jindosh changed the Empire. What would he do with an army?
Clockwork Soldier Basics. To all personnel, after last week's disaster, forgive me, guys. I'm feeling a little congested, so if I start to sound like it, it's because I'm battling some, phlegmy congestion in my nose and my throat. It's cold season, After last week's disaster, the Grand Inventor Kirin Jindosh circulated the following information related to his Clockwork Soldiers. All Grand Guard personnel should read this report. The Clockwork Soldier is protected by armored wooden plates. If some miscreant destroys these, then there's nothing protecting the vulnerable mechanisms underneath. If something knocks off the Clockwork's head, the thing will attack anyone it can, ally or not. That means you. Given the expensive optics, Mr. Jindosh has provided each Clockwork with they can see in front of and in the back. Remember that if another one of them goes haywire. If some fool is able to get close enough, there's a small panel on each Clockwork that can be rewired, which will inert the perception of friend and foe. Again, that means you get attacked. Keep these things in mind and the Clockworks will be an asset, and not a liability. 3rd Lieutenant Fiora Diaz. So also some little notes on how I deal with those things. As obviously I'm going to have to deal with those things in order to get him, Sokolov out of the guy's mansion, which I'm sure is going to be infested with those soldiers. Hold on. Just curious if now there's anything to loot here on the ship this time around. Huh. Those blood flies again. I already read that. Oh, did I read this? Oh, nope, I did not. Same thing?
Dearest Emily.
Yep, it's the same thing from before. So, nothing new in here. Alright. I'm curious, though. Is there anything new in Megan's cabin? Like a new journal or something? Aha! Megan Foster's notebook. I don't remember seeing this before. I'm starting to understand why Anton wanted to go to Dunwall to seek Emily's help. She's impressive. I have to wonder if she's really suited for palace life. Maybe she wonders that herself sometimes. We could have been good friends at a time when I was running across the rooftops like she is now, watching my enemies from the shadows. Really? Now that sounds interesting. What is Megan Foster's past life? Who is she really? I just hope she's breathing tomorrow morning, so I can complain when she puts her dusty boots up on the table again. I've lost so many friends. First my sweet Deirdre. Others along the way, good old Aramis Stilton, who disappeared 3 years ago, and now Anton. Maybe this is my punishment. I'm bad luck. Please, Emily, bring him back. I have a feeling that name is supposed to be some kind of hint. I just don't know who. Oh, here's the crank wheel. What was that for? Find the crank wheel. Stop the leak. Alright, I found the crank wheel. Now where do I put it? Down below? Yep. All these little side quests I'm sure are gonna like lead to some kind of reward or something. To the engine room. Here we go. Turn off the water. Blood of the Abel House. This chapter will focus on Editha Abel, steward of Kellero. With sword in hand, she swept the marshes of raiders, sacrificing her life for Serkonos. We will provide newly discovered insights into the exploits of Rabinos Abel, who built the ornate wooden bridges of Sagunto. Follow along as we map the expansions occurring under the Abels, through which trade routes to the other isles were established, bringing riches to the nation's state. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Theodonis Abel, true son of Serkonos, brave and benevolent, he united the east and west as no other before him. Even the rowdy people of Bastilian swore loyalty to him. One isle, one Serkonos. Unite under House Abel. Lastly, we will settle on Luca Abel, who rules today, partaking in feasts and merriments of all kinds, bringing joy to our fair isle. Ha! Yeah, sure. Alright, so since we took care of that, see, that paid off to go check her room. I found the crank wheel and took care of that side quest. I'm sure these maintenance things are gonna pay off at some point. Alright, quick save.
Let's hope your friend doesn't sink the boat while we're gone. Ready?
Hold on, not yet.
Not yet.
Suit yourself. Ready?
Alright, never mind. I thought there was a conversation there when I clicked the skiff instead of her.
Ready. All right.
Alright,
Let's get
go.
underway.
And of course, I'm sure when I play Corvo, it's going to be him putting on the traditional mask from the first game. The Clockwork Mansion. Anton Sokolov is being held at the mansion of Kirin Jindosh, Grand Inventor to the Duke and creator of the Clockwork Soldier. Get inside, rescue Sokolov, and eliminate Jindosh before he builds an army of Clockwork Soldiers. I'm pretty sure that the game would not count me destroying the Clockwork Soldiers as a kill. But then again, it's probably better to just go ahead and avoid them. Gotta try and do this as stealthy as I can to try and avoid coming across these Clockwork Soldiers. But first, I gotta get there, right? Let's find out.
Jindosh is important to the Duke's inner circle. The Grand Guard watches his mansion, and they'll call down the entire city if they find out who you are.
I'll make sure they don't.
Huh.
You said there's a wall of light cutting off access to the carriage station?
Yes, but there's a black market shop nearby.
Oh, good.
They sell on the sly. Ever use a rewiring tool?
Yes.
Corvo taught me the theory.
I love
Good.
that thing.
Get past the wall of light, then ride the carriage to where Jindosh lives. And there's a reason people are afraid of his mansion.
I'll get it done.
I'm gonna take care of this crazy man and his Clockwork Soldiers, then bring Sokolov back. He means a lot to me.
He means a lot to me too. I want him back just as much as you do. Oh, ooh, what's this over here? Get a rewire tool at the black market shop. Enter the carriage station. And here we go. First off, what is this over here? Raw whalebone. Nice. Hello, rats. Ooh, is there anything up here? Put something in that vice. Hello. Oh, an alarm clock. Loot. Coins, coins, coins. Grindstone. No trespassing. Don't need that. Oh, an outsider shrine right over there. Always want to go find those. Have a nice little extra chat with our good buddy. Right? Of course, there's a rune at the black market shop, I'm sure. Oh, I thought that was like a little note. It's right there. Lower Aventa District. Here's my issue. I can't tell if this is a hostile territory or not. If these people are actually gonna, like, as soon as they see me, be like, hey! I can't tell. I don't know. Okay, so these people don't care. That's good.
You bet.
Oh, might be time to spring for fish cake.
Scheme hiding. The
He's made a dog's breakfast out of the whole thing. And who's got to clean it up? Me, of course, as always.
Hold on. This has to work. Alright, outsider, what do you have for me?
I'll tell you a story about Kirin Jindosh, a prodigy from Karnaca. Self-taught, he was hailed by the Academy of Natural Philosophy as a genius who would surpass Sokolov and bring about an age of enlightenment. But just 2 years after his arrival, he was banned from the Academy for life, for reasons that are still not public.
Huh.
When they deported him, he left behind a machine that drank seawater, playing music that brought listeners to tears. They promptly took it apart, and it has never worked since.
What the heck does that mean? Oh no! Okay, well, I guess we'll be back. Stay tuned.